Morning, everybody. I toast to you and all you do. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Oh, I know it's been a minute since I made a video. I did some live videos, but we had birthdays and the house is getting refinanced and so much stuff is going on. It's just been crazy around here, so I hadn't really had time. And as you can hear in the morning, now the birds are back, which I love, but it does make for some fun recording. Now there's trains, whatever. I had to stop and take a moment. I was just out in my garden, and I was thinking about the saying, you reap what you sow. And it's such an old saying, and I don't think that there are enough grandmas around saying it anymore. I think that it's kind of, I don't know, I guess I have a lot of old-fashioned sayings that just like rattle around in my brain. Waste not, want not, you reap what you sow. Those are my two favorite right now. Excuse me. But you reap what you sow is one of those things that we don't always talk about it. It used to be such a big deal. It used to be something that was just like really obvious, and now you see so many people who don't understand the consequences of their own actions. And I love the saying, some people's parents, because that's definitely where that comes from. But everything that you do has a consequence. And we talk about, like, there are a lot of people in the pagan and Wiccan community who believe in the law of three and karma and what you send out comes back to you, and all of those kind of things. But it's really true, because you reap what you sow. If you are throwing that energy out there and you're doing that thing, and then that's what's going to come back to you. The reason I was thinking about it this morning is because I'm in my garden, and this is the hardest time for me in my garden, because harvesting is weird for me. I don't know, it just, like, now it's better than it used to be, but it used to be like, I don't know if this food is going to be good enough to eat. And then I was like, I trust these people who I don't even know in fields somewhere far away to make my food and bring it to me. And I trust that more than myself, and it was like a revolution in my brain. But definitely has taken some time to get to the point where now I'm really, harvesting is part of the process. But it's that time where I have to harvest the last of everything, and then I have to clean up. And so it's like that end final phase or whatever. And so that's just a hard step. One, because it's hard, like literally hard to get out. Let's see if I move the camera a little bit without it falling. Let's see. See my tomato plant right somewhere? Oh, here we go. That's a tomato plant. It froze and it's dying. And then there's like 6 more tomato plants right here they were taller than me before it froze. So now I gotta get out here and take care of them because it's cold at night and they're no more. But I did get an extra month of tomatoes, which is exciting. So anyways, I have to get out here and do that. And sometimes it's hard to deal with the consequences. It's hard to deal with the final product. It's hard to finish things. It's hard to get through to the end. And it just made me think about magic and about, your energy and your spirituality and all of those things, is that a lot of times we get really close. We get so close. We're like, I'm almost there. And then life happens or something else happens or whatever, or it gets too big or too scary or whatever it may be, and then we stop and we don't go through all the way. Or we do something and we don't realize the consequences of it. And when we have to deal with those consequences, we're like, oh my gosh, this is not what I wanted. I didn't think this through all the way. And you still have to deal with those consequences. And I think that the rule of three kind of gets the pagan, you reap what you sow thing. And so, yes, not all Wiccans believe this. Not all pagans practice this. It's not a universal pagan thought. However, the idea that your energy cannot be created or destroyed, we're just influencing the energy around us, and then when you start influencing that energy, it's going to start influencing you back, and you're going to get this circular thing. And if you want to say it's karma, if you want to say it's the laws of retribution, if you want to say it's whatever, they're all talking about the same thing. You do something, it affects everything around you, and then those things come back at you. And this is especially true when we're doing magic, because we are purposefully sending out that energy to manipulate the energy around us, and then it's going to come back at us. So that's why your intent is so important. But even more so, I think on a day-to-day basis, this is something that people just really have to, like, you have to own it. We have to stop this, like, blame, this, like, I'm going to push this aside and I'll let somebody else take the blame for this, or I'll point at somebody else, or I'll say somebody else did it, or I'll say it came from somewhere else. It couldn't be me. You have to just accept those consequences. You have to accept responsibility for your actions, whether good or bad. Everything has consequences. And you always are going to have to do something next. It's never going to be like, bam, I'm dead. Again, I know I've said this in other videos, but we do not live in a vacuum where your energy is the only energy influencing, and it's just you. We live in a world where there's energies in every direction. There's animals and plants and trees and children and life and everything, and they're all influencing you all the time, and your energy is going out like little tentacles in all directions, touching all these different things that you're involved in. And every single connection is going to have a consequence. Every single interaction is going to have a consequence. Everything is going to have something that comes back at you, whether you did it on purpose, or whether it's what you intended, or what you were trying, or any, whatever. It's always going to come back. There's always an ebb and flow. It's never static. It's never in a vacuum. And so the more that you accept responsibility for your actions, the more that you realize that your actions influence everything around you, and that the only thing you control is your reaction and your actions. That's it. You can't control somebody else. I can't control Mother Nature. I can't control my plants. I can't control anything. All I can do is control myself and my reaction to the situation, and how I want to deal with it, and how I want that energy to come back at me. And so there have been times where I've been super mad. I'm like, oh, I want to fight. I'm mad. I'm mad at my husband, or I'm mad at my kids. I'm mad at a friend. I'm mad at life, whatever. And I have to remind myself, do I want to feel this way? Is this the energy I want to be putting out? Because when I'm angry and I'm putting out that angry energy, I stub my toe and I drop something and I make a mess and I do all of these chaotic things that end up making the situation worse. Because in my brain, I'm so frustrated. That's the energy that I'm sending out. And I'm like, I'm frustrated. And everything is like that. You know, I find myself saying, God, it's just another one of those days. And it's not really one of those days. It's my energy being pushed out and coming back at me. And especially now that we're like stuck in our houses and we can't go very far and we're not doing things, we're not going out, your house becomes this like reverberating boom, 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 boom energy of what you're putting out. So if you're frustrated and you're depressed and you're sad and you're upset, that's what's going to be reverberating all through your house. That's the energy. And so you have to think, is this how I want to feel? And this kind of goes into what I was talking about the other day with your brain is a really powerful thing. And if you're sitting here thinking, I'm frustrated, I'm frustrated, I'm frustrated, I'm frustrated, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this, I'm frustrated, I'm frustrated, I'm frustrated, then that's the only energy that's bouncing around your brain, that's bouncing around your aura, that's bouncing around your space, that is around you. And so that's the energy that's going to be coming back to you. And that's the energy that you're going to be cultivating. You're going to be like, oh yeah, let's build up that frustrated energy until it's exploding. But if you stop and you remind yourself that your brain is the most powerful tool that you have, and what do you want to think, and how do you want to feel, and what do you want to happen today? Well, you have to think that. You have to know that, and you have to manifest that through your thoughts and actions. If all you're thinking is, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this, I'm frustrated, I'm frustrated, I'm frustrated, then that's what you're manifesting. If you stop and you think and you're like, okay, well, you know, I don't really like having to be stuck in my house, but it has brought on these other good things. I just saw a spirit out of the corner of my eye. It's that time of year, so they're everywhere. Anyways. Sorry, I really thought it was a kid. Like, legitimately thought there was a kid that was, like, gonna come through the window over there, like, peering out the window. But it's... Anyways, you'd have to see the window. They can't, because it's a basement window. Anyways. So the energy that you're putting out is what you're going to get back. And if you are scared or fearful or angry or mad or any of those things, then that's what's coming back at you. If you're constantly thinking, I can't, I can't, I can't, then you can't. You know, if you're thinking, I can do this, it's just like the train that thought it could. I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, and then he did. And that's kind of where you should start your mindset. I think I can, you know. And I counsel people and I talk to people and they're like, well, I just can't control it. I say, so for me personally, with anxiety and mania and, some bipolar and all of those kind of things, which, by the way, was really funny. I was at the doctor, and they make you take that little test. It's like, how often do you feel anxious, or how often do you feel depressed or sad or whatever. And I always answer honestly, because I think it's important for my own mental health to know the truth. And then by the time we were done with the little wellness checkup, she's like, well, have you considered being on medication for your anxiety? And I'm like, yeah, no, thank you. Not quite there yet. But anyways, so when you are in that phase, it's like there is a chemical imbalance in my brain that I cannot control, but I can control my reaction to it. And when I start to feel that my brain is making more norepinephrine or more serotonin and less dopamine or whatever, and my brain chemicals are getting off balance, or sometimes it's too much dopamine and not enough serotonin, and a way to tell that, I don't think a lot of people know this, but dopamine is very involved in touch. So a lot of people who are like, I can't stand to be touched, the dog next door is like, somebody pet me, we're talking about touch. Anyways, so when you have a lot of dopamine in your system, it makes touch uncomfortable, or vice versa if there's not enough dopamine, because dopamine is your pain sensors, your touch sensors. So for me, when my dopamine levels are getting kind of high and my serotonin levels are going down and I'm feeling kind of sad, I also don't want to be touched. Like, it makes my skin crawl, it makes me want to freak out. But before that starts happening and before I get to that point, I have learned on my own brain, whatever, on how that's starting to make me feel. Before the anxiety takes its grip, I've realized what the first symptom is. And that little feeling that I get in my chest when I'm like, it's hard to catch your breath, that first time. And I've practiced and I've practiced and I've practiced, because I used to not be able to like write checks at the grocery store. I used to not be able to like go around large groups of people. And then I got like some weird social anxiety things where we were at a festival and people were throwing trash everywhere. And I was like having a really, really bad panic attack, and I was like freaking out. I'm picking up trash from everywhere, and I'm yelling at people, because there are trash cans. And I'm like, pick up your trash. Why is there trash all over the place? And I walked up, we were in Denver, and I walked up to this group of Latinos, and they were like tough, and they had their pit bulls, and they're like scary, and everybody else is avoiding them. But one of them had thrown a blunt wrapper on the ground, and I like walked right up to him. And my crazy state of mania, like the crazy white lady, I was like, you dropped that. You need to pick it up right now. My husband's like, come back this way. He's like, you need to leave those people alone. And they weren't rude about it or anything. He picked up his trash. He knew what I was all about. Like, I didn't care. I even went over this guardrail because they had some trash cans that were behind the guardrail, and the police are standing right there. And I'm going behind the guardrail and throwing trash away. The police officer tried to look at me. I just gave him a dirty look. My husband's like, it's time to leave. Your anxiety has gotten us to this crazy place. You're like, I'm worried that you're going to get in a fight with somebody, or you're going to get arrested for trespassing, or something bad's going to happen. Because my anxiety had gotten to a point where I was just like, this is not cool. There's trash everywhere, and I have to pick it all up. It's weird, okay? I love Mother Nature. Don't let her. Don't let her. Anyways, so... but my anxiety had gotten really bad. Like, I was at a place where I was like, I have to do something or I'm gonna have to be on medication. So I just started to learn. I started to watch my own body. I started to think. I really took on the mantra that the only thing I control is my reaction. And so when I start to feel that anxious energy, then I can recognize it and I can calm my brain down, and I can say, for a while I was telling my brain, I'm like, you're stupid. There's nothing wrong with you. Stop. And it worked. It wasn't a very nice way, but it really did work, because I was able to tell my brain, no, you are in control of this. Stop. There's no reason to be producing norepinephrine at monumental levels. So, but because I told my brain that, every single time, my anxiety has gone down. I don't have panic attacks. I can write a check at the grocery store. I can, be productive and not freak out. I used to have such buyer's guilt that I would buy things and then instantly take half of them back. Like, instantly. I would go to Walmart and I'd be like, okay, I have my list. I need to get, wet wipes and diapers and things that we need. And then I'd go through the line and they'd ring me up and it would be $200 and I would pay for it in a panic. And then I would literally walk from the checkout counter in a state of panic to the return aisle. And I'd be like, I just went through the checkout line and I need to return these things. And I would be freaking out. Like, I'm sure the people at my local Walmart were like, this lady's crazy. But now I don't have that problem anymore. Because I've taught my brain, I've changed my brain thought, my power of your brain, okay? Your brain is very, very powerful. And if you're constantly getting to that point where you're like, oh, somebody else did this, or it came from somewhere else, or this over there, or pushing blame somewhere else, and you're constantly deterring the consequences of your actions away from you, then you're not dealing with them, and you're not going to learn from them, and you're not going to create productive magic, you're not going to have good meditation, you're not going to have all of these things, because your brain is going to be constantly thinking, well, where can I put this blame, or where did that come from, or where is this external thing happening? And it's always going to be looking for external things, when in reality, a lot of the stuff is coming from the inside. And it's your brain, and it's your power of thought, and it's your, you, and not the things around you. And so you have to think about how your actions are affecting everybody and everything and yourself, and how you want that to be. So now that I'm freezing, because it's really cold out here, and even with my house coat and my slippers and my what is probably now very cold coffee. Let's see. Yeah, it's cold. Gross. Do not like cold coffee. Anyways, so, today I challenge you to take responsibility for your actions. I challenge you to stand up and realize that you are the one that is influencing the world around you. And that if you want to make a change, then you are the one that has to do it. Nobody around you, nobody else. You have to do it. You have to create the world that you want. You have to change your mindset. You have to change your area. You have to change the energy around you so that you can create that. And remember that what you're putting out, in one way or the other, you're getting back. It might not be the rule of three. It might not be karma. It might not be whatever you want to call it. But we are all connected. That guy in the road this morning who made you late because he waited too long at the stop sign because he was in La La Land. Or maybe he was, whatever. You don't know what they were doing, but they made you late. And now you have to deal with those consequences. And you want to blame somebody else. But you don't know, maybe that person's mom died this morning and they were having a meltdown in their car at that moment and they couldn't pull forward because their face was covered in tears. My empathy just went like berserk on that statement and made me want to cry. No, I feel bad for them. Some random stranger I made up. Anyways, you just, think about that. You should have left earlier, and then you wouldn't be late because you wouldn't have to worry about traffic because you are in control of you, nobody else. Your actions affect you and everybody around you, but you can only control you. It's a crazy conundrum. So, again, I challenge you to take responsibility for your actions. I challenge you to finish those projects all the way through and complete them. Make the bed that you want to lie in so that when they tell you you made your bed, now you have to lie in it, you can say, yes, and my bed is very comfortable. So, I toast to you and all you do, and I hope that you have a very comfy bed, and I hope that you are happy and healthy and that everything is phenomenal with you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know always if you have any questions, and I hope all is well. Many blessings to you.